What's up, everyone? We're back with some more modern action. I'm, of course, NanMan, bringing you all the coverage here at NanMan's Nerd Corner as we continue our weekly modern coverage. Of course, every Monday you can be able to catch us over here on YouTube for more modern action from the present day 2026 and beyond, right? We've been doing this for a while now, but yeah, every so often we'll have special events like the 2015 event that we did. Went and be able to do some of that, but for now we can enjoy some modern in the 2026 era with Broodscale Combo versus Izzet Affinity, two of the most popular decks, at least when you think about Pro Tour era decks. Two of the most popular decks that you'll see online. You know, they're just very powerful, very popular in the sense. So let's kind of break it down a little bit about what each of the decks are trying to do here as we get into it. A little bit of a glare on the Izzet Affinity side for this one, which I apologize, but we'll make sure that we're giving you guys all the breakdown of what exactly is going on so you can know what is happening in this match. So the way it's working out here is we see the Broodscale's goal is to do a combo to use Basking Broodscale, Blade of the Bloodchief, make infinite colorless mana, and be able to win through Glaring Fleshraker or like a Walking Ballista type effect there. Those are the kind of avenues. So basically a 2-card combo into a 3rd card, right, to be able to win. But Izzet Affinity, like the Affinity mechanic, idea is to be able to drop down a lot of artifacts, dump your hand, go hellbent as quick as possible to get a payoff from it. And it could be from a swarm mentality, utilizing like Pinnacle Emissary, making a lot of drones and going wide. Could be a Pierce style and dumping your hand and being able to cast like a Kappa Cannoneer, which looks like the line we're going for because we're cycling Mox Opals here. And we've got a Claws of Gix as well. So what do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the Kappa, which will trigger putting a +1 counter on it. Ward 4 is no joke. 5/5 every time that artifact enters. Put a counter on it, make it unblockable. So now it's up to the Broodscale to find an answer because the Izzet Affinity is hellbent. They've done it. So we'll see. How will they be able to navigate through this? They've got 3 mana on turn 2. I like that. If it's a all right, kill me. Go ahead. Glaring Fleshraker, one of the cards that is needed here, dropping down. We'll see how well we can utilize that. Let's see. We need some artifacts. We do have the Urza Saga ticking up here, which will help. We could be able to go for a construct here if we wanted to. Depends on where we want to go. It's going to be interesting, right? Like, depends if we have another mana or not. I mean, we've got the Mox, so it's like, looks like we're going to be utilizing and going for the extra creature. Because we could have done, like, you know, tap our stuff, make that if we had another land, then still, like, tutor up, like, a skateboard and equip it. Or, not many people are running Lava Spur Boots anymore. They're mainly on the skateboard side of things. But there is some elements of, you know, Lava Spur Boots, having the ward can be nice, but... Let's see, what are we tutoring for here, though? You could go and play it safe and go a little bit control-y here. And, yeah, it looks like you see that stop as we're going through and lean for the Pithing Needle for that. So Pithing Needle is going to be grabbed, and what do we name in here? Most likely, yeah, Blade of the Bloodchief will be grabbed up because it's like, what activated abilities do we need to worry about? Oh, you equipping your Blade of the Bloodchief because it's an equipment. That's really what kind of gets things going and gets things getting out of hand very quickly with being able to produce so much infinite mana off of the Basking Broodscale, making the Eldrazi spawns. But looks like we'll utilize our mana here, though, and equip the Shadow Spear or Donnie's Bow Staff, because it did get reprinted there, which is great, very much needed because it's a great card. I need to pick up a couple more, actually, because I've been, you know, I built a new commander deck, Dwalin Weapon Master from the Hobbit stuff. Been having a ton of fun. It's been a while since I've built a new commander deck. Edge of Eternity is one, and even then I just had been upgrading a precon and stuff like that. But, you know, this one's basically built from scratch of just going, I want to play all the dwarves because I had so much fun at the Hobbit pre-release playing dwarves. I'm going to build a commander deck with it. But back into this match, we see the Ancient Stirrings getting utilized, which will, of course, give a life to be able to utilize it off that Grove of the Burn Willows land. And looks like, oh, we switched it up. Which cool land we want? Galaxy Foil Forest there from one of the unsets. I can never remember which one. Unfinity, sanctioned, something. I don't know. One of the unsets. Oh, okay. Glaring Fleshraker #2 triggers on the cast, make a spawn, and then, of course, do some draining effects. All right. Do we get an artifact here? Push for damage. Right now, the Kappa's at 7 power. Looks like Fiery Izzet, which will immediately get popped. Okay, Urza Saga's not bad, but we already played a land for turn, so that doesn't really help us. Looks like we had a Metallic Rebuke there, a little bit more control-y main board. Yeah, push for damage. I like this. Is that it's not unblockable. It does have trample, so great communication of just sort of like heads-up lines so players can know exactly what's going on. So we'll be able to absorb that hit, drop into 6, maybe 7. I did my best to try to keep track of life, but there is a little bit of life swinginess that happens with these matches with like Grove of the Burn Willows and Pain Lands and, you know, things like that will end up happening where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I missed it. Shout out to our Izzet Affinity player pulling up some Chipotle and saying, sponsor the channel. All right, Chipotle, if you wanna advertise for some Magic content, you know, let me know. I'd love me some Chipotle. All right, let's see as we get into it. You see the Emrakul tucked behind that. We could be able to bring it back, but our graveyard count is not very high at the moment, so we're going to keep digging here. Ancient Stirrings, looking for some tools, something to help us. We at least know, because the Blade of the Blood Chief is named off Pithing Needle, we have to be able to find a way to deal with that. So there are ways to deal with it in the main board, things like Beseiju, things like Haywire Might. So there are a lot of tools that we've got at our disposal, but it looks like we're just sort of really needing a way to answer the Kappa here, though, because if an artifact pops up, we just lose. So we might need to find a way to try to, I don't know, find a way to deal with the Shadow Spear here. And wait on dealing with the Pithing Needle, because that would definitely add a little bit of extra support here to be able to go, okay, at least if you don't find an artifact, I have a way to deal with your trample. But Kozilek's Command is really nice because we get to make a bunch of guys, shred our opponent a little bit. It's not enough that's gonna, I mean, I don't know, we can't really deal with the Kappa. The Ward 4 is crazy. Let's see. Could make a construct here, though. That is another line. Because we have the Emrakul tucked underneath of the land, we can generate 2 mana off it, make a construct. Does that help us any? Not really, because it's a 1/1. But just, going through potential lines that we've got available to us. So it is looking dire for our Broodscale player here. They go digging. They're looking like, I got 4 mana. I mean, they can make 2 drones, scry 2, draw a card. That's not bad. Ooh, gain some life, 32. Oh, okay, we do have the Basking Broodscale. Nice. Which will then trigger. Get some drones. Boom, 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 boom. 2 drones, 2 life. Or 3 life, I guess, because Basking Broodscale is also colorless there. And bring some damage, dropping to 25. Yeah, I guess we're like, we're going to keep the Fleshrakers. Okay, Metallic Rebuke is still in hand. We didn't really care about the Basking Broodscale. So I guess we have this like moment of being like, no, we're fine because we have the Pithing Needle. We're not worried about the combo here, but Urza Saga coming out. No artifact, though. All right, push for damage here. 7 total. All right. Going to go for Kozilek's Command for 1. X equals 1. Trigger will make 2 more tokens. Yeah, color spell. And then, so it goes up to 3. And then we'll make 1 more off the Consulate's command there. Modes are going to be Scry Draw and make a spawn. So, do we like that card? Put it on the bottom. Draw this new card. All right, how many are we throwing in front of it? I think the life is at 6. They're only putting 2 in front of it, which is still enough to put the 1. But the players say they're at 2. I don't know. I marked it down as 2, but I don't know if they're actually at 2 here. Regardless, 2 or 1 is all about the same. Can we find a tool here? So, Beseiju, Haywire Might. Did we draw any of those? What are we tutoring up for, though? We could tutor up the Haywire here. That is definitely an option, but you see this very quick, very deliberate, looking for a specific card we already know of. We've passed quite a few. Blade, no. I'm sorry, what is this card? I love seeing this when we get to see new cards showcased. Tarian Soul Cleaver. Equipped creature has Vigilance. Costs 2 to equip, though. Whenever another artifact or creature is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1 counter on equipped creature. So it's an alternate version of Blade of the Blood Chief. It gives you an avenue when people are doing Pithing Needle and stuff like that. I mean, it costs a little bit more because Blade of the Blood Chief equips for 1, but this, I like this a lot. So we can combo through it now. Sack, trigger, Basking Broodscale will then, because of +1 counter, will make a spawn. And I will do this because when a spawn entered, the Glaring Flesh Rakers will shred you for 2. And I will keep doing this again and again and again and again. Oh, wow. What a good start. I was not expecting the Broodscale player to find a line and get out of there, but they did with that equipment there from Ixalan. So, like, that's the stuff I love being able to see, is when players are finding these ways out or build their deck in a very specific way like this.
We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with Nerdgear. Nerdgear.gg/NanMan will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories, from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanMan for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay.
All right, let's get back to the gameplay. Of course, check out the Nerdgear stuff. They've got some amazing playmats, amazing deck boxes. We had a little fun video related to the deck box stuff. Of course, you can get sleeves, dice, all kinds of goodies over there on nerdgear.com. /NanMan will get you guys directly there, and then you can use code NGNanMan for some discounts on the products that you pick up. But check it out. Definitely worth looking at and browsing around, finding some goodies. Let's get into game number 2 here. Looks like we're going to mulligan down to 6. And how do we start off with? Spire, Bluff, Canal, Pass. Nothing too crazy. And back at it with the Chipotle. All right, Urza Saga, great way to start. There is definitely this nuance-ness when you're playing Urza Saga decks of, should I play this on turn 1? Should I play this turn 2? When do I need it? And a big decision-making point comes from, will I be able to make a construct quicker doing it this way? Will I be able to tutor up an artifact that I need quicker? And you have to make that choice on where to go. But our Izzet Affinity player is going to respond with a weapons manufacturer. They have a fiery Izzet, so we missed the life total thing. I think we correct it in a little bit there. But weapons manufacturer, very cool addition to the Affinity list. Addition. It's been a while now. Edge of Eternities came out, last year, but still a very cool addition to the deck because of the idea of you're just making a bunch of munition tokens that you have ways to get rid of, right? That's another reason why it runs so many engineered explosives, why it runs like the Arcbound Ravagers, things like that. But, ooh, a turn 2 Basking Broodscale. This is the way that they're setting it up, saying, hey, I've got a turn 2 Basking Broodscale, and I've got my potential to get a Blade of the Blood Chief immediately, right? That's why they did the Urza Saga so early like that, to be able to try to set that up here. All right. But a Whip Flare will put a stop to that, dealing 2 damage to each non-artifact creature. Wiping the board here. What do we got to go with? Make some mana here, probably. Yeah. Make mana. Let's do some searching. Oh, so they did. Yeah. Okay, so the Whip Player. I was like, did they lose another life? Yes, they had to lose another life. So they should be. Our Affinity player should be at 18 here. Somebody make note of that. Also, if you guys are interested in checking out these decks, they're over on our Moxfield link. You can check the description there to find out more info about the Moxfield and the decks that we've got on the channel, whether it's Modern or Legacy, because we have our Legacy content over the end of the week. Ooh, Springleaf Drum. Okay, so that also is telling us you're hurting for mana, right? If you're going to find things like that, you're definitely in need of some tools to help you. Still a decent number of cards in hand. Looks like 4 cards in hand for our Broodscale player. At least, what, 3 cards for our Affinity player here. Fritos. All right. Snack time. I mean, that is the thing about coming out and playing for the weekly tournaments at our LGS, is it's like the tournament starts at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Some people are still eating dinner and stuff like that, get off work, come over, get right into gaming and stuff. So the benefits of having a nice LGS like we have for getting together and hanging out. Ooh, okay, we do have a land. Do we've got anything we're willing to pitch? Looks like no. 1, 2, 3 mana. What are we doing? Fleshraker here? Yeah, there's a Fleshraker. I was like, that's the like go-to 3 drop that the deck has access to. And okay, tapping it with the Springleaf Drum for Ancient Stirrings. Of course, that gets around that whole summoning stick, because the Springleaf Drum is the one that is tapping it to generate that green mana there. Anything good on top, though, that we could use? That's a really good one. I mean, Kozilek's Command was the most played card, or most registered card, at least, at the Pro Tour. So makes sense. It's a really good card. All right, what is our weapons manufacturer doing? You see this sort of like flick, flick, flick back and forth here with engineered explosives. So we could start making some weapons here. Oh, weapons manufacturing again. 17? 16? Take another point of damage? 15? Are they 15? I don't know, 15 or 16. I think I just this is where I checked in, I think, when I was doing the editing, going, oh, wait, those are the pain lands. They should be at 18. No, I think they should be at 15 or 16 here. All right, engineered. One of those is on 1. The other one is on 0. And our Gengar is our weapons manufacturing tokens here. Munitions tokens, that is. Of course, every time that artifact is going to be there, we do generate more. And because there are 2 of them, we double up on that. So then we're up to 4. When those munitions are no longer on the battlefield, right, they, of course, will be starting to ping for 2 damage to any target. So you can start using that as like a way to clear a path if you need to. Start destroying some creatures. If our opponent tried to combo off and you had a way to sacrifice them, like, for example, the Engineered Explosive, you can start dealing with some of the creatures that way. Or you can, if you get enough of them, you could just go and machine gun your opponent down with it. But there is the Basking Brood Scale. That'll be 2 more damage. I don't know, 16, 15, 14, who knows. 2 more damage. All right, tapping, Basking Brood Scale. Oh, Baseju's nice. Okay. Targeting the one that has 1 on it, because that's the, all the equipments are on 1, so we need to make sure that that is gone. Makes total sense. we get a basic land type here. So our affinity player went and grabbed a island right away, and then there was a little bit of discussion is, oh no, you can get basic land type. So this means shock lands, surveil lands, any of those goodies will be able to get grabbed off Beseiju there. Which Beseiju's gotten so expensive. I hope that when we go back to Kimigawa and they do the kaiju set, we're going to get a reprint of him. I mean, I have a decent number because Kimigawa was one of my favorite sets to play. I mean, samurai and all that stuff. I opened quite a bit of that set back when it felt a little bit more attainable and easier to get products. But it's also, I like pick and choose now what sets that I spend more time with. Like, there's a lot of cool sets that I'm like, I wish I could spend more time with, but can't always make it work. Oh, Arcbound Ravager's really good. Okay, here's our sack outlet now. This will, of course, make more munition tokens. And now we can be able to, of course, start to deal damage to all these creatures. Oh, go Hellbent, play Krang. This is the mastermind from Turtles here. 1/4, but it does have the kind of ability to draw cards and also gets more power based off of the number of artifacts you control. So we will, because we're Hellbent, draw 4 cards, because it is 4 or fewer, right? Depending, you basically minus how many cards you have. I got 1 card in hand. Okay, you draw 3. Your goal is to get to 4 cards in hand. Very easy to track there, but Krang's power is what? 1, 2, 3 millions of munitions here. So what, 13 extra power right now? So he's a 14-4, 15-4. Oh, he says you have enough to kill. Oh, because they're each 2. Yeah, you just need to get up to 10. So let's start machine gunning. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Says, would you like to shoot any of my creatures? Says, no. I'll just do 2 damage to your face. So tying things up here, 1/1, utilizing the weapons manufacturer. Double weapon manufacturer. There is like this cool little snowball elements that exists with the affinity deck like that. Even though the Broodscale Combo could just sort of win out of nowhere, like we saw it in Game 1, you've got to be careful of these weird lines that the deck can be able to utilize here.
Ways to help support the channel, you can check us out over at Patreon, patreon.com/TheRealNanMan, where you can get exclusive gameplay, podcasts, behind the scenes, and more. We do have 2 different types that you could pay for. Of course, our thank you tier at $3 and our Discord link for $5 that we'll have available soon. And you could just also join for free. Another way you could be able to help support out is becoming a super member on YouTube for $5 a month. You'll get exclusive badges and emojis that you could be able to use, as well as exclusive stuff just for our super members that is going to be very similar to what you get if you became a Patreon member. But let's jump back into the video.
All right, let's jump back in. Of course, if you guys want to support it, you guys can also do for the price of free of just liking, comment, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. Spreading the word, sharing the video in Discords and things like that. Do all that sort of stuff. Post it up on Reddit, whatever you feel like to help show support for the gameplay and the channel here. But let's get into it because everything is all tied up 1-1 here in this best of 3. How are things going? Who will take it here? Do we get a fast, explosive hand? Because both of the decks can go very fast, right? Broodscale has that ability to sort of chain things together. We saw basically a turn 3 win get snatched away from the Broodscale player because they had the Basking Broodscale. They were going to tutor up the Blade of the Blood Chief there. So, like, really going to be a tough one to position themselves in. Okay, Pithing Needle, what are we naming? There was the kind of that debate about what are we going for. Engineered Explosive here. I like that. Oh my god, look at that right there in the hand too. Now, that's the thing. There are a lot of ways to be able to utilize the munitions tokens. Engineered Explosive is one of them. We've got Claws of Gix and the Arcbound Ravager there. So basically 3 different ways. So Pinnacle Emissary, this is that sort of go wide element we talked about at the beginning of the video. Your ability to kind of sit here and spread yourself out and get your opponent here. But let's see, as we see more and more drones getting added in here for artifacts. Oof. Yeah. 4 drones here. Claws of Gix, Bobble, Mox Opal, and we'll Bobble here. All right, and turn goes there. Oh, we missed the Bobble draw. Oh, the players were joking and talking, and they missed it. Oh, no. I wonder if you know, I've noticed that a lot with myself. Haywire might hit the battlefield here for the Broodscale player, but I've noticed that a lot with myself is when I take a break from playing Bobble decks and I go back to playing Bobble decks, I get thrown off, and there's usually at least one round in the tournament or more that I'm like, oh, I completely missed that. I missed a Bobble and I needed that extra draw to just help me. Just card advantage wise, I've started to get depleted on resources. I really need something here. But we do see Haywire might immediately going to get popped on the Mox Opal, try to limit some of the resources available. Arcbound Ravager going to hit the battlefield here. Pretty nice. And then we can start putting the pressure with the drones. Is that one of the Gundam cards? I don't know. I always love seeing what cards players use as tokens. Oh, Pithing Needle. Arcbound Ravager is going to be named. Now, there is that window of saying, you know, I'm going to be casting this. Your opponent has to respond before it resolves, because once it enters and it's named, that's it, right? So, you know, a Broodscale player was just a little bit like, hey, I'm going to be naming this. You should, you know, respond and do this ahead of time. I mean, we like the Affinity players would have known going into it too, of like, what is going to be the scariest and most powerful target here? Well, it's going to be the Arcbound. Let's name that. And ooh, Blade the Blood Chief there, nice. No threat at the moment. A lot of control-y elements from our Broodscale player here. Double Pithing Needle. One of them is that like Innistrad black and white version of it. It's so interesting to see that like black and white version right next to that like, you know, Ink Moth Nexus version that exists there. Very colorful in comparison, but oh wait, nope. We debated about the Mox. So this is that interesting moment of you go, why would you not just play it out here? Part of it could be wanting to save a tool for something like a Kappa Cannoneer, especially after game 1 where we just needed an artifact to be able to do it. Looks like we're going to be utilizing Urza's Saga now. We're on the I'm going to beat you with these, go this sort of like pivot mode. All right, untappies, Kozilek's Command. I would like to draw a card and exile your token. I like that. Keep it in check the best we can. No scry this time to be able to do it. Are we just going to make another one? It was like, oh, wait, you do get a draw first. Because this was upkeep, but we did this. Yep. So, yeah, Broodscale player being great. Just sort of reminding, hey, don't forget you do get a draw, and now you get to do your thing. Make another construct here. This is really interesting seeing the Affinity deck in action, because it's been basically 3 different games all in this match. Round 1 was focused on the Kappa. Round 2 was just we're going to snowball our weapons manufacturing. And, you know, game 3 here is going to be very much of this, like we're making constructs. We're trying to do, you know, this sort of like plan C element. So I'm really enjoying this match in particular because we get to see so much variety in the Affinity play here. But we see Bladed Blood Chief going to be named again with Pithing Needle. Both players utilizing their tools to kind of control what they can here. I think our Broodscale player, though, would have really liked to have drawn a few more tools, but they are stuck here. But there's a lot of live draws available, right? Basking Broodscale would be great. I mean, we'd start getting a bunch of mana. We don't have much more to do with it at the moment, but there is 5 damage coming across you. So you see the other, what is that, drone there has a +1 counter because of that Arcbound shenanigans that happened. All right, decent number of cards in hand. We've got our Eldrazi Temple. Looks like a Glaring Fleshraker. So now we're going to start trying to assemble something here. What can we be able to make happen? Okay, I like this. Do we have anything else to follow it up? No, sadly not. Basically, Glaring Fleshraker becomes a blocker. What are we finding? Not going to need to make a construct here because, I mean, we could, but we get the other bow staff even. Pierce through the construct. Oh, just get a bauble. That's fine. That's fine. We can utilize a bauble. Oh, our Affinity player is like, hey, I've just got a Whip Flare in hand. So it says all my drones are artifact, so everybody lives except for your Basking Broodscale. Not Basking Broodscale, your Glaring Fleshraker. With my mana floating, here's a red Whip Flare, 2 damage to each non-artifact creature. I like this. I got a Veil Summer. Does that do anything? No? Alright. Guess we'll die here. Very exciting set of matches here. Like, you might look at, like, this game did feel a little bit more one-sided, but it was very much a control element that our Broodscale player was going for and had to deal with all of these Whip Flares. That, like, post-sideboard stuff really making a difference here in this series. So we're going to see a little bit as these players get into their D-sideboard mode, what tools they brought in to help them in these matches here. The Vexing Bauble, really nice. Stops all those zero-cost stuff from popping up. Of course, we do have the Pithing Needle there. Veil of Summer. I like the Veil of Summer. You know, there could be some control-y elements like the Metallic Rebukes and stuff like that. So not bad, not bad. Looks like all of the counter stuff really came out though. So that's the difference, right? Some players will run more control-y stuff in the sideboard, where this Affinity list runs more control-y stuff main board. So we see all these like Metallic Rebukes normally got taken out. And we get even more control-y stuff like Consigns. The problem with Consign, like Veil of Summer, you've got to like hit it in the right spot before, like, you know, in a wizard battle situation with a couple of replicates, it can be really tough to have to fight through and deal with. But we get to see like 3 Consigns, definitely useful. Whip Flares. Oh yeah, okay, and Emrakul. So just shaved on numbers. It looks like we are doing the Thought-Knot Seers in the main board too. Oh, Galvanic Discharge in there as well. Galvanic Blast. I can never remember which one is which, but hope you guys enjoyed this one. Of course, we do have more gameplay coming up every single week, Monday and Thursday, for you to be able to enjoy, as well as some sprinkling of content on Saturday. But thanks for tuning in and watching, everyone. I'll see you all next game.